Hi guys, it's Annette, and I'm sorry it's been a couple weeks, but I did take a little break for my birthday, and there was a lot of construction going on in my area. I'm also going to preactively apologize if I don't upload a lot. I am going to be moving. So my apologies if I'm not going to be uploading every week. Please stick by me. Please just make sure you're subscribed so when I do upload, you won't miss it. That's enough house cleaning. I am doing a video that I have wanted to do forever since the beginning of my channel. The Allegory of the Cave, also known as the philosopher Plato's cave. Now, the reason why I haven't done this video yet is because I wanted to make not a diagram, a diorama like you used to in grade school. And make it with paper mache to demonstrate the metaphor better. But that takes a lot of time. I never got around to it, but I am going to pop up a lot of pictures, so it should still be just as entertaining, hopefully. So if you're not already familiar with the allegory of the cave, I'm going to explain it, then we'll have a little discussion. So the allegory of the cave is exactly what it is. It's this cave. So we're going to picture this cave that has multi-levels, and at the bottom of the cave, there's a group of people who live there. And they're all chained together. They're staring at a blank wall, and they live their whole lives in this cave staring at this blank wall. So in this cave, there's a source of light. There's a fire on a higher level behind them. There's this fire. The people watch these projections of these shadows that are casted at the blank wall that they've been staring at their whole lives. And they give these shadows names. There's a shadow and they're like, that's a dog. That's a tree. I know, that's a man. That's a wagon. I don't know. Did they have wagons then? So these shadows they see are the prisoner's reality, but they're not a real representative of what's reality in the real world outside the cave. These shadows represent the fragment of reality that we can normally perceive through our senses, while the objects under the sun represent the true form of the objects that we can only perceive through reason. The effect of education and the lack of it on our nature. So remember how I said that there's three higher levels of the cave? I'm going to read them off. The three higher levels exist: the natural science, mathematics, geometry, and the deduction of logic and the theory of forms. If you want to read more about this story in Plato's book, it's book 7, The Republic. It's one of his most famous stories. But it's about one of the prisoners they've all been there since birth, and one of the prisoners were released. They started seeing objects that were real and not so much shadows. And then when he was released, he came up to the surface, where he was explained what a real tree is, a real duck is. He was so confused by everything he saw in reality. He was used to the shadows. He saw the shadows as more real as the real objects. But gradually, this prisoner's eyes adjust, and he saw the world for what it was. He saw the sun, and he saw that the sun was the creator of all that was, all these shadows that he's seen from the beginning. So then with his newfound discoveries, he went back into the cave to go explain to everyone else that the shadows are fake, that they're real objects. Well, all the other prisoners thought he was loony. They thought he was crazy. They're like, get the hell out of here. His eyes weren't adjusted to the dark anymore, so he couldn't see the shadows. No one believed him, thought he was cray-cray conspiracy theorist. The prisoners became very hostile with him. They became very violent.
If this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight.
Plato's teacher was Socrates. Socrates was also sentenced to death by their little government thing because he was thinking a little too much. He wasn't sticking to the status quo. And then Plato avenged his teacher's death the whole time trying to speak truth. So the prisoner who escaped became enlightened. They are awakened to the world, but no one believes them and labels them crazy. Now, the people in the cave, there's different levels, and everyone plays a part. We have the prisoners who are just staring at a blank wall, watching shadows. The shadows could be people walking directly in back of them, in front of it, fire and doing their chores, doing their tasks, doing their jobs. And those people know a little bit more than the people staring at the wall, but they haven't been out of the cave either. They don't know anything about the fire. So then we have the people controlling the fire, making sure the fire stays, bright and burning for those people staring at the wall to be amused all day. And these levels are politicians, these are celebrities, these are people telling you what to believe. These shadows are these names, and they're not even out of the cave. They don't know the whole truth. We're talking about huge companies, huge people in power. I'm sure the top knows what's going on, because it's the same reason why you have to get human beings as a collective into schools by 5. Make sure you tell them there's magma in the center of the earth. Make sure you tell them we came from monkeys. Make sure you tell them we went to outer space. Make sure you tell them there was dinosaurs. Make sure you tell them there's not aliens. Make sure you tell them, I don't know, all the weird stuff they tell us. Any kind of philosopher, anyone that has any kind of critical thinking, label them crazy and conspiracy thinkers, conspiracy theorists. Yeah, because you can't think outside the norm. You're supposed to think like the status quo, what you're told, like a good prisoner. The word conspiracy theorist was invented a long time ago when people were digging too much into, I don't know if it started with the JFK assassin. Probably started way before that. But what do? You flood the internet. You flood stories of even crazier conspiracy theorists. So if one person is thinking out of the box, you can say they also believe something super crazy and just label them crazy forever. People fear what they don't know. I believe every theory. I'm not set in stone in anything. That's what makes it exciting. If you believe in one concrete way, this is the way life is, this is reality, then if that ever changes, fear sets in and you fear the unknown. Well, if everything's a possibility, I don't fear anything, and everything's exciting, fun to think about. It's just fun. Like all the great minds in time of history have been called crazy. Plato, Socrates, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo. I'm sure people called Albert Einstein crazy. People called Martin Luther King crazy.
I have a dream.
People call people that think outside the box crazy. Trump.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China.
Kanye West.
Can you believe that? Can you believe we don't have a jacuzzi?
I'm just saying some people. I might have not listed people that they might be like evil geniuses. Let's see if there's like a list of people that were called crazy that either invented great stuff or like had great theories. I mean, what about Tesla? Elon Musk. All right, so I Googled it. This is 11 famous geniuses from history were actually crazy. Oh, now they're just calling people crazy. What's crazy? They got Charlie Chaplin. Well, now they're just making people sound Teslas on here. Benjamin Franklin, Michelangelo, James Watts, Winston Churchill. They just labeled them actually crazy. The freaking internet. This just proves my point that they just want us to think everyone's crazy. Here's one. People initially called crazy who were right all along. And most of the time, conspiracy theorists, like in the last 6 months, most people that said anything conspiracy you're not allowed to say, shh, they're all true. So let's see here. Courtney Love, what kind of list is this? I'm so upset. You guys get my point. A lot of our great minds that thought outside the box were right all along, and they were labeled crazy during their times. And we study them. We study their thinking, their writing. I don't mind being called crazy. Being called crazy by people who are still playing victim by culture conditioning is just, it's not an insult, it's a compliment for me. If you want to control a group of people or a civilization, what you're going to do is you're going to conceal the truth. This is the best way how I can explain woke culture and awakened culture. Woke culture are the people sitting in prison staring at the shadows in the wall going, that's a dog. I know for sure. I'm so smart because that shadow, it's a dog. And awakened are the people who got out of the cave, actually saw the dog in person, saw the sun, knows everything outside of the cave. The allegory of the cave theory kind of reminds me of, like, I'm a spiritual person. I believe that we had a soul contract where we all decided we were going to come down here at whatever time you were alive, whatever gender, to have this human experience in these meat bodies with these five senses and just have a very short experience. Life isn't long, time is an illusion. Or if you still along the same lines, if you believe that we're in a simulation, if we're in a matrix, that everything we are told is to find out in the game and awaken and just have the experience of being here during this time, playing the game. A lot of people think that the game got hijacked or there is a virus and we are being lied to too much to where we were supposed to find our way out. Has anyone seen that Simpsons episode where, like, Lisa or Bart left a bowl of cereal or something under their bed and it grew a little civilization? We can literally be in, like, a little petri bowl under some, like, alien's bed. Let's say on one side of the bowl there's like one color of mold and on the other side there's another color of mold, and like there's like mold over here a different color and everyone's fighting that they're different molds and there's like wars breaking out, and like it's just crazy to me. Also being like a mixed person, like I don't get the race war happening at this time. I'm a huge believer in aliens. I think most people are now. I don't think it's weird to go like, oh, I believe in aliens, and everyone just thinks you're crazy. I think we can all say aliens exist at this point. So when aliens show themselves or come over, are we going to be fighting that they look different? Come on, guys. What fascinates me about the allegory of the cave is that it's okay to be a free thinker. It is okay to think out the box. It's okay to be a critical thinker. It's okay to question things. That's science. Nothing's always the same. Everyone talks about gravity, but there's also density in when something falls and the air around it. Everything's a theory. Nothing's set in stone. So have fun with it. It's like all of society has Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is when you've been abused your whole life, but you don't know any better. You're in denial and you trust your abuser. You have love for your abuser. You don't think you're being abused because you know no better. That's Stockholm Syndrome. I love this story because it helps me. I'm a Pisces. I love just diving into any kind of philosophy or even mental health is really important to me. But I was brought up in a very sheltered family. The family still runs that way. We weren't allowed having friends. We weren't allowed going outside. We weren't allowed opening the blinds, not the window. Like the curtains can never be open because God forbid anyone sees what's going on inside. When you're brought up that way, or if you live in a situation like that, you're groomed into thinking it's normal. You get anxiety and depression at a very young age. It's a type of torture. It's what they do in the military. It's what they did to us during the COVID thing. I guess that's still going on. You want to keep everyone inside, depressed and sad. The government, the big people in charge, they don't want us to know what's really going on. They want to conceal the truth. They are the abusers. Like, my mom still lives in that house. She's not allowed, never used a smartphone before, never learned how to text, never learned how to use a computer, never had control of the finances. She thinks anything over $1 is super expensive. She's never opened the blind. She's not allowed to talk to anyone without being on speakerphone. She's Stockholm, like, it's sad. She's in denial about the whole thing. I try not to visit them that much. Everyone knows relationships like that. It's not only men that do it. Everyone has that friend from high school or family member that has been cheated on one too many times by their husband, And they make them have a joint Facebook account, but everyone knows that that husband already has his like dating app still going and he doesn't use Facebook. But that's how people are in the cave. And that's how we are just on a bigger scale. The abuser's always very insecure and jealous. And that is what the government and people are to us. They are jealous of what we can do as a collective together if we were stronger. An insecure, weak man is way more dangerous than a strong, confident man any day. But the Stockholm Syndrome and abusive relationship, that's a whole nother topic and a whole nother video for another time. I hope this one makes sense. I don't know. Once I edit it, I'll figure it out. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe if you like it. Leave any comments. Let me know what you think of the allegory of the cave, and I'll see you in the next one.